Improving your songwriting is not something that happens overnight, but today I want to give you 5 actionable tips that you can use to help you on your songwriting journey. Inspiration is one of those things that can rear its head at any unusual time and is the most unpredictable aspect of creative songwriting. Inspiration often comes at some of the most unusual times. You could be driving along in your car and get an idea for a song. You could be in the shower, or you could be half asleep laying in bed, and then you roll over to get your pad and pen or your iPhone to make a few notes on your next track. As a songwriter, it's easy to become frustrated when you're feeling like you're uninspired or you can't channel any inspiration. A good approach that I'd encourage you to have a go at is thinking about what are those elements that have made you inspired in the past. For example, if you're listening to your favourite music or your favourite song or album, have a think about what it is about that song that makes you inspired, or that makes you feel great, and that makes you want to turn up the volume or replay it 10 times in a row. Now, I'm not suggesting you go and copy your favourite song and completely recreate it. What I am suggesting though is have a real think about how you can recreate something that's perhaps an element of that song and channel the inspiration and recreate your own version of it. As an example, you might love the drum beat in this particular song that you listen to all the time. Why don't you create a drum beat that has that vibe and that feel that song has, and try to build around that framework of that initial inspiration. And inspiration doesn't necessarily just come from other music in terms of songwriting. You can be inspired by any aspect of your life. So certainly have a think about what are those exciting elements in your life that have caused you to feel inspired in the past, and really try to channel those specific elements. First off, improving your theory doesn't necessarily mean getting out a big textbook and studying musical notation. There are so many options for improving your theory around songwriting, and that can be from online resources. For example, YouTube is a great resource for picking up new theory tips around songwriting. For example, if you're a guitar player and you're wanting to write more music around, say, the blues genre, but you're feeling like maybe you're a bit stuck in your playing. So what I'd suggest you do in that instance is go in and look into some of the more theoretical aspects of blues playing, and pick an area that maybe you're not so proficient in. Try to learn a bit more about it and practice that element, and then bring that into your new songs and try to create something fresh around those new ideas that you've just learnt. And whilst on the topic of improving your theory, there's certainly nothing to stop you from also learning a new instrument or becoming better at another instrument. If you're a guitar player, have you tried playing bass as well? Try to become a multi-instrumentalist where possible, and those individual different instruments can often be a great source of inspiration and songwriting too. Co-writing has become one of the most popular ways for proficient songwriters to get more material out there on a regular basis. So if you're a solo artist or a singer-songwriter, have a think about some people that you might want to collaborate with and co-write, and you'd be amazed at how someone else's approach to songwriting can open up a wide range of doors for you. Most importantly, when co-writing, it's really critical to have an open mind, because quite often you'll need to make allowances for someone else's style and someone else's approach. If you become really narrow-minded and only focused on the way that you write songs, you're really not going to gain any benefit from the co-writing process. Technology is arguably the biggest element that you can utilise to improve your songwriting. If you have a think about the volume of music that's being released now, all you have to do is have a look at all of the latest streaming platforms and look at the new releases each week. You'll see there are artists that are very proficient and prolific in releasing a lot of material on a fairly regular basis. Many of these artists and songwriters do that by utilising technology. So if you've got your own home studio or even a very basic setup with a laptop or a DAW that you're recording with, try to learn a little bit more about the available technology tools that can help you construct new songs. For example, there are a wide range of chord creators that software programs have nowadays too. So you can actually have a very basic chord progression or even a single chord, and use chord creators to sort of build some ideas for different progressions that you may not have thought about in the first case. And along with those chord creators, you can do them via a very basic MIDI controller or a synthesizer with only a few keys, because what they can actually do is build chords built around using one key on your keyboard. So for example, you might want to play A minor, E minor, D, etc., but you're not quite sure how to build those chords on a full piano or a keyboard. You can map those chord creators to one single key, and you'd be surprised at how many ideas you can come up with through that method. There's no shortage of famous singer-songwriters, artists from history that claim travel or various locations as a huge source of inspiration for their own songwriting. Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to go on a huge, lavish overseas holiday in order to gain some inspiration from it. But what I am suggesting is have a think about changing your environment generally, even locally where you are. That could mean something as simple as moving from the same room that you keep writing your songs in to go to a different location, or go to a park, or go to a cafe and watch some people walk around and take notes, and just get your creative mind thinking from a different perspective. And you'd be surprised at how your environment can really change your approach and your perspective. As always, there's no fixed rules when it comes to songwriting and methods that you can use to improve. But certainly I think those 5 tips that I've run through today will really give you a few different perspectives on how you can improve your own songwriting and start coming up with a lot of fresh new material. If you're looking for more information around songwriting or music production in general, check out my website mnproductions.com.au, and I look forward to catching you again soon.